Welcome back to the Be a Man podcast, where we encourage men to be better men. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back to the podcast. I have Chris on with me tonight. I'm excited about this talk that we're going to have. Chris, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hey, Justin. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. I'm Chris Rodack. I run Rising Father. It's a fatherhood brand community all over social media. We have a blog, and we're all about helping dads and fathers rise as men and fathers and create more freedom for themselves and their families. So super excited to finally talk to you.
Yeah, me too. So what are some hobbies you have going on right now that you're into? So you post a lot of stuff. So what's your thing right now?
Yeah. Thing right now is jiu-jitsu. We have belt promotions coming up in a couple of weeks. So right now I'm a blue belt. I've been a blue belt for about 2 years. So I'll either get the purple belt or I'll get another stripe my blue belt. Personally, I kind of hope that I just stick around a blue belt for a little bit. I don't want to rush it too much.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu really takes up a lot of my time when I love it. I do that with my son and daughter. And then whenever it's a little warmer out, we'd like to do archery. My son's into basketball now, so I'm trying to play basketball as much as I can with him. Play saxophone. I went to school for music, so my son's learning the upright bass. So we've been jamming out on some blues. So I keep busy with all that stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. So tell me about jiu-jitsu. So I'm trying to find one close nearby, but it's really difficult. I'm finding, but the closest one's about 50 minutes away, but which isn't horrible, but it's not great either. What is it about jiu-jitsu that you like so much?
Well, it's kind of like therapy. I know a lot of people say that, but it's really like all the stresses you accumulate throughout the week and the day all kind of come out when you're doing jiu-jitsu. Because of my work schedule, I'm a band director. I teach. So there's certain times of the year that are busier than others. And like Christmas, holiday season is more busy because we have concerts. And they're fun. They're fine. They're not super time consuming, but they always land during my practice, during roll time. So I wasn't able to go for 2 weeks, and I could just feel myself getting so stressed out and anxious and making little problems, big problems that weren't really big problems. And it just, all that stuff, whenever you got someone just choking you, or you're trying to choke someone and you're just giving your all for, our rolls are 6 minutes straight. So it's not like jogging. It's like fighting for your life for 6 straight minutes. And when you do that for 90 minutes, nothing else really matters whenever you come home. So that's the thing I like the most about it.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm hoping you can answer this, but that de-stressor type thing, mental clarity is kind of what you're talking about. You can just kind of let it all go. I lift and weights, and that's kind of my de-stressor. When the brain starts getting super foggy, that's what I do, and that's what helps me get through it. But I think it's necessary for dads, for fathers, for men in general to find that thing that helps them with that. But I wonder if you could speak to why that is so essential, and how it makes you a better father.
Well, whenever your brain is occupied by thoughts that don't help you personally or help your family, then you're not really present in what you're doing. If I'm thinking while I'm with my kids about some business thing that's not working out or something at work that's not working out, then I'm not really there for them. I'm not really a present father, and I'm not really helping them out at that moment. So, for me, I have to have a clear head whenever I'm around my family, or else for me, that time doesn't even count. If I am with them, but I'm thinking about something else, I'm not really with them. My physical body's there, but mentally I have to be there with them, or else they're not getting a full version of me. And I feel like I'm gypping them out, and I feel like I'm being selfish, and I'm not being a good dad if I'm not mentally present with my kids. So I really have to, same thing, I lift weights too. When I push myself physically, it kind of clears my head.
Yeah, I found it. I think this is like 2019, I think, is when I really started getting back into it. It was just a huge, heavy mental time. And this was even before 2020. And it was just like, I needed that thing, and weights was that for me, and it helps me a lot. And I've looked into, like I said, jujitsu, but because it does interest me quite a bit, and something
It's fun.
I wouldn't mind my son getting into it. One of my sons to get into, the older one, because I think he would enjoy it. He's, I don't want to say softer, but he's more, soft natured towards things. He's not your going to pick a fight with somebody, any of that kind of stuff. He's just not like that. And I want to encourage maybe some more of that aggressiveness, because he's got full of energy. I mean, he's got plenty of that, but I want to like help him direct some of that. And I know from your Instagram posts and things like that, you do a lot of that with your son. Like, what are some tips, or like, I mean, you have to be intentional about it, but how are you really trying to focus in on that as far as being a father in that way?
Well, jiu-jitsu for me, for my kids, is a learning experience. It's something that I started them on it for a lot of different reasons, and some of them were I wanted them to be able to defend themselves. Like me, I always wanted to do some type of martial arts growing up, but I come from a family with 8 brothers and sisters, and my parents couldn't afford to send us all to jiu-jitsu lessons because they're expensive. That'd be like $2,000 a month. That'd be double their mortgage payment. So I don't blame them for that. So I always wanted my kids to be able to defend themselves, especially my daughter. She's a beautiful, cute girl. I want her to be able to choke any guy out she can. So
of course,
that's one of the reasons why I got them started into it. The second is because I want them to experience humility. My son, he's very outgoing. He's hilarious. He's just he'll pick a fight with me if he feels like he'll pick on me, which is fine. We go back and forth.
Yeah.
But it's good for him to have someone his age who's smaller than him just completely smash him, who knows more jiu-jitsu. So it's teaching him and my daughter great lessons in there. Whenever you're their age, my son's going to turn 9 in a month, my daughter's 7. And when you're their age, you're not used to people just like smashing you, just, choking you or sitting on your chest or putting a lot of pressure on you. So for them dealing with that a couple times a week, I think is really great, and teaches them how to kind of deal with adversity. And then the last thing, I wanted a shared experience between myself and my kids, something that we could communicate with forever. So for me, by the time I'm 41, 42, I should be a black belt by then. And it's not like, for me, it's not like if, it's when it's going to happen, because I'm not going to quit. I'll keep on doing it. So when I'm 41, 42, that'll happen. And my kids will be, older, and they'll be very experienced in jiu-jitsu. And this will be something that we can always talk about together. Even after they move out and they have their own kids, we'll always be able to talk about jiu-jitsu, and they might get their kids into jiu-jitsu. So it'll just be, for all those reasons, I get my kids involved.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love it because, I know you probably see it as a band director. There's a lot of parents, and in particular dads out there, who don't put in the time, don't put in the effort, really have no idea what their kids are doing. And it's incredibly sad. And I'm sure you see it as the band director as well, in the schools and all that kind of stuff. And I just wonder, like, was it always like this, or was this, when did all this happen?
When did what specifically start to happen?
Like this, like it used to be, where the son would be taken into the field and work with his dad, and he'd be taught, here's how you become a man, here's how you work, here's how you know these types of things. And then at some point, it just seemed like dad's over here watching the game or doing this sort of thing, doing his own thing, going golfing, and the kids are the mom's responsibility now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a lot, luckily, over the last couple years, I've seen there be a lot of push in the opposite direction, at least on social media. Yeah. If you look at mainstream media or anything like that, you're not going to see it. But my personal opinion would be that just with the advent of technology, it's very tempting to just be stuck on that all day. And I think TV shows have a big part of it. I think, everyone loves Raymond, King of Queens, all these shows that we loved in the 90s growing up. Every single dad was a pushover. Every single dad was weak. Every dad was lazy and sloppy, and you laughed at the dad. And, the mom was the one leading the house in every single one of these shows that our entire country watched every single day. So I think that kind of forms the way the brain thinks, especially whenever you're young. Like my son, we have Netflix, and I have a long list of shows that are blocked on our Netflix account. You can go into their profiles and manage their privacy settings. Mm-hmm. And if he just watches some new show that pops up that I haven't blocked yet, 2 or 3 times, he'll come to me with questions about it or repeat things they're saying in there. And I'm just like, where did you hear that? It's like, oh, it's his brand new Netflix show. I'm like, okay, what's the name of it again? Yeah, blocked. And I do that. So and he's like, Dad, I can't find it. I'm like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But I think that's been the pervasive message coming from the media for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. And that gets into guys' heads. I think that plus how fun and easy and safe it is to be on technology is such a, I don't know. It's like, being offered a candy bar. It's like, it's bad for you, but it feels so good. And for a lot of guys, dealing with the problems and stresses of being a man and father is they're going to choose that candy bar over that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're exactly right. I just, it just makes me think, like, what are some things that you're trying to encourage in your son or push him towards, that you want to see him develop these manly, if you will, traits? Now, manly is a broad spectrum here, but what are some of those things you're wanting to try and develop in him? Some of them you've already hinted at, but go into that.
Yeah, for my son, he has an aggressive side to him that can be encouraged, but it also has to be controlled, as with anything. So for me, I'm trying to think about with him. Sorry, I'm also at hour 49 of a 3-day fast. So if I stumble across some of my words,
I got you.
but anyway, I'm done tomorrow at dinner time, so I'll be good.
All right.
But for him, I'm working on control, organization, and kind of reining some things in. Not taking away any of his masculinity or manliness or any of that. But for him, I see, like, what will he need to be successful in the future? And for him, I think he can naturally be successful at physical things. Like, he's a very strong kid. He's very strong for his age. He's big for his age. He takes naturally to any sport that he does. Partially because from like 1 month old, I had him outside doing stuff. So he's got that covered. So I encourage that as much as I can. But now I'm trying to go to some more high level things, such as, you're at the park, you have a group of 10 friends you're playing with, you see one kid who's by themselves, go ask that kid to play. And I think that is part of being a man. That's part of being a father, a provider. It's taking care of the people around you. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to develop, as he's more aware of his surroundings and he starts to question things more, I'm trying to bring to him some more of these higher level lessons that if I don't teach him, he's just not going to learn naturally.
Yeah, I think that's a huge point, because he's just going to pick up on whatever social media, whatever shows teach him that it should be like. And if we are not more intentional about what we are teaching our boys. I have two. I have a 9-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, and they're very different. And the 2.5-year-old, he's the aggressive one. I mean, he'll run over he's almost as tall as his 5-year-old sister, and he'll run over there and bear hug her and pick her up off the ground. And like the older one, he wouldn't do anything like that. But they're totally different. It's going to be totally different, teaching them, raising them, all those strengths and challenges. But I think if we are not intentional, then how can we expect things to change? Because I do think we have kind of a issue with a lack of manly individuals in society. I think we see it all the time. I think a lot of the problems we are facing now is because we've not seen a lot of male real leadership, and it's been lacking for a long time. And what are and it comes back to us personally. We're responsible for raising that next generation and making them better and hopefully passing it on to them as well. But I think, let me switch gears with you. What are you doing personally to grow as a man?
I constantly push myself into areas that I'm not good at. Like I started online business stuff 5 or 6 years ago. I had no idea how to do any of that kind of stuff. So for me, it was something that I needed to do for my family to get time back, because I was really, really lacking with the time I had with my family when my son was first born. So, for example, I forced myself to learn that whole new realm, which is a scary world. It's a world of sales. It's a world of technology, algorithms, all that kind of stuff. And if you don't have a handle on it, you're kind of missing a big opportunity. So I forced myself to jump into that world. And after I was able to do that, I was really able to help myself and my family out. So going into new areas like that where I'm unaware is kind of how I push myself to grow. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. When I took my first step in, there was a lot of kids who were way younger than me, way more in shape, stronger, skilled than me, that could kick the shit out of me. So I went into my first class nervous, not knowing what to think, but now I feel comfortable. Same thing with starting a podcast. Same thing. Your very first time, you're a little nervous. You don't know how to talk in front of the camera. All that kind of stuff is new. If you're same thing, posting reels on Instagram, how do I talk? What do I do if you're going to do that or whatever? It's being okay being uncomfortable, because if you're not, you're just stuck where you are forever. If you're not okay trying something new, then you have no growth ever. There's not, if you're fine with how you are right now for the rest of your life, then great. Stay comfortable, stay safe, don't do anything new. But if you ever want to do something different, then you have to do something different. So for me, that's going into a lot of new situations that do make me a little uncomfortable, but also help me grow. So I think, jiu-jitsu, physical stuff I'm doing, I'm trying new workout programs, and trying to constantly learn as much as I can.
Yeah, that's really good. I laugh. You ever watch the Goldbergs or heard about it?
I heard about it. I don't really watch it that much though.
There's a guy, I've only seen a few, but there's the dad on there, Murray. He walks in every day after he's home from work, takes his pants off, sits right on his chair, and does the same exact thing every single day, and he's fine with that. And I'm like, where's the challenge? I'm not geared that way either. And
in a way, I'm jealous of him.
Yeah.
If I could, there's a quote. It's you're only poor if you want something more than you have. So I also think about that. But yeah, I couldn't do that. I'm pretty restless.
I can go about a day, even when I'm sick, and I've got to do something. I just can't. It's got to really knock me out not to be up and moving. But I'm just not geared that way either. But I wonder if you would touch on the online, the business side of things that you've been diving into here for the last few years here, and kind of point people and tell them the advantages, all that kind of stuff that goes into it, and why they should even consider doing it, because I do think it's scary for a lot of people, and they don't understand it, and when we don't understand something, we're afraid of it usually. And I just wonder if you go into it and maybe just talk about how that all works.
Well, I mean, I definitely, that's really what I'm focused on right now. As a brand, as Rising Father, it's a brand. So is Be a Man Bam. These are brands. That means and technically they're called gateway brands, meaning that they can morph into anything. As long you can change your message tomorrow your Be a Man Bam could be about vegetables. It's up to you. So the luxury we have with owning a brand is we're able to cultivate an audience of people who are attracted to what we're listening to. And then we're able to exchange something. We're exchanging value, and sometimes they'll become a follower, a subscriber. Sometimes that could result in ad dollars. If you're looking to monetize it, that could result in buying affiliate products. And I can talk about that also.
Yeah.
But the world of online business is a very vague and big term. That means, basically if you have a website, you have an online business. And that could be, there's, millions and millions of websites out there. Now there's different kinds of online businesses. There's service businesses. So there's businesses that provide a service. I also have one of those. I have an advertising agency that we help lawyers, realtors, anyone that has individual clients like financial advisors. What we do is we help them find clients through our marketing system. So that business that I have online is a service-based business where we provide a service. Then there's such as a brand where you might not provide your own service. Some brands do provide their own service, such as there's a bunch of well-known man brands out there like Masculine Revival and a bunch of other brands that have hundreds of thousands of followers. And they also do their own coaching programs. They have their own courses. They're also offering a service. But as a brand, you could also offer other people's services. You don't have to own your own product, own your own service. You can just know someone who does and refer your audience to that person, and then they will compensate you for that person. So instead of that other person paying ad dollars to Google, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, they're going to pay you for a referral. Now that's called affiliate marketing. And that could be done on Amazon. A majority of the products that anyone will ever buy on Amazon will be from an affiliate. They're not probably, because it could be through an Amazon store or through someone's affiliate link on a blog. And that's not going straight to Amazon. It's going through the middleman, and that middleman's making a cut of that. It could also be a private company. Like there's something called high ticket affiliate marketing. And that's when people have, $4,000, $5,000, even $10,000 coaching programs they do. There's some coaching programs out there that are $40,000, $50,000. And if you refer someone to the person that's selling that program and they buy it, that person will give you, upwards of 40% of that coaching program. So that's called high ticket affiliate marketing. So there's a really big world in online business. And for me, I try to encourage, right now, we have a course, like for me, I've decided to tie myself to a group of people who initially taught me how to do all the online business stuff. And they have their own program. And they're multimillionaires, and they've trained people to be multimillionaires. So I could either spend the next 5 years trying to build what they have right now, or I can send people to them and leverage their program. I can do my own thing plus be a part of them, and we can work together and have a business relationship, and that we both get compensated for the work that we love to do. So I could do that, or I could say, no, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to build my own thing. And that's fine. And that's great. You have complete control over it, but you have to have the time. You have to have the resources. You have to have the knowledge. So that's kind of where affiliate marketing is great for fathers, because say you have a full-time job like I do, like you do, you have a full-time job, you've got kids, you got a wife, I can operate multiple online businesses because it's online. It's not like I'm starting a restaurant. It's not like I'm starting a barbecue business where I need to smoke the meat for 10 hours before the customer comes. I started a health brand a month ago. Just ran on TikTok just to test it out, test some things out. And, I made one TikTok video, it's at 1 million views right now. That one video earned me a nice chunk of change. So it's, that took 5 minutes to make. It's very different than starting a landscaping company and mowing people's mowing people's lawns. So for fathers, it's a great option to support your family, support yourself, and most importantly, have more time with your family while you are a father.
It's really cool. How much time are we talking about? How much time does it take to do these types of things? I know it's probably the more you put into it, the more you get back, but what are we looking at here for guys who working full time and may not have maybe like an hour a night or half an hour a night?
Yeah, and with an hour a night, you could do it. You could, and even if I was starting a brand today, there's things I would still do differently. I would be hyper focused on one niche exactly, and only post about that one kind of content. If you look at, do you follow the account Paths of Manliness?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has, I think, 300,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
His posts consist of one quote and no caption. You know, the caption is like 5 words. So how much time do you think it takes to do that? Maybe 4 minutes. So if you have a Canva subscription, you just save the template and you Google, you know, wise quote of the day, and you put that in your thing, and you know, he gets 10, 20,000 likes a thing. Probably, so for him, literally 5 minutes a day to run his online business. He doesn't need anything else. He doesn't need a website. He doesn't need YouTube. He doesn't need Facebook. He probably spends 5 minutes a day on his entire online business. And then in his bio, he has a link to, I don't remember what product. I actually think he's doing coaching now. So if you decide to coach, then that's gonna be more time consuming. But in terms of like the marketing of it, yeah, 5 minutes a day to make these posts. But what I would do if I was him, instead of doing the coaching program, I would be referring people to someone else's coaching program, so I don't have to do the coaching. Or I would just have some type of, you know, wisdom book or motivational book that he's getting a cut of, so that he just has to make the post, people click on his link, and he gets paid for it. So yeah, I mean, you can make it as hard or time consuming as you want. You can, you know, use other people who are successful as a model and take a lot less time, or you can craft your own thing and accept that it's going to take a lot more time.
Yeah. So how do you, I guess I've been asked this before, and I just usually refer people to your site, but I'm just like, because they'll ask me, like, how do I get these people to want me to do this? Like, how do I get, you know, in there where they want to pay me to do these things? Like, do you just write them or what?
What do you, can you be more specific?
Like, let's say, I'm trying to think of a brand. Okay, so like you were talking about Path to Manliness. Let's say he wants to advertise a book for somebody else, but he has to get he could just post that on there, and he's not going to get paid anything, but it's still directing people to that book. But if he wants to get paid for it, he needs to contact them, or they contact him, either way, and then he'll get paid for it. So how can somebody go about that?
So if I like a product and I want to be an affiliate for them, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just reach out to them, and some will say yes, some say no. There's affiliate networks like ClickBank, MaxWeb, ShareASale. There's a bunch of different affiliate networks that you can just go to and apply. It's a short application process. And then once you're approved, you can choose from hundreds or thousands of affiliate products. And if it aligns with your brand, then it makes sense for you to do that. There are millions of companies that have affiliate programs, like even Nike does, Tesla does. You can be an affiliate for Tesla if you want. But if it's a smaller private company who doesn't have an established affiliate program, then you have to build a relationship with them and say, hey, would you like to create something? And that's a little bit more work, because you have to count on them being good salespeople, being organized, having good systems in place. And that's part of the consideration you have to go through whenever you're thinking about becoming an affiliate for someone. You're like, do I want to be an affiliate for this new guy who's never done it before? Or do I want to use these established people who, if I send them someone, they're definitely going to convert for me? You know, there's a few considerations you have to go to. It's not just the product; it's the systems and salespeople. You know, do they have good salespeople? Because you don't want to waste sending them people if they're, you know, not going to follow up and not call.
Sure. Yeah. I get questions sometimes, and like I said, I normally just point up to your site to go talk to you or do whatever, because I know this is your realm of things. But I think ultimately the one thing I'm asked in the end is it worth it? And what would you say?
For me, it was. You know, I started with my ad agency. That was whenever my son was like 1 year old. And I was just scrolling Facebook, I think, and I saw this guy's ad, a Facebook ad, and it really spoke to me. Spoke to all my pains. So I knew he was a good marketer because he was speaking to my pain points, and I appreciated that. I like good copywriting. And then I clicked it. Well, I went down his whole funnel. That's what it is. You click on an ad, then you enter your email, then you watch their video, and then it's emails, and then you eventually purchase. So I went through the whole thing. I loved everything I saw. I spent thousands of dollars to go into his coaching program. And then I think after the first 2 months, I doubled my investment. And then after that year, I matched my salary. So, and I was able to quit all the extra BS I was doing, spend tons of time with my family. And most importantly for me, it was just the mental clarity. I just felt good knowing that I was providing for my family. And, we could just randomly go out to a restaurant and it wasn't a big deal. If I wanted to get something nice for my wife, I could, and that wasn't a huge headache for me. Just the constant stress was gone.
Yeah.
So that for me, yes, it was worth it.
Yeah. Now, is this something you do by yourself, or do you and your wife do some of this together?
Yeah, we tag team it. I definitely head it up and do most of it, but yeah, she is a partner definitely, and a very supportive role in all of it.
Awesome. Yeah. So if people want to learn more, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
You can go to probably just message me on one of the social medias. Probably Instagram is the easiest one. If you just message me on Instagram, that's the easiest spot to get a hold of me.
Okay. Yeah. I'll put all that in the descriptions and things like that too, but so people can, hit you up if they want to know more. Because sure. I think, especially right now in the economic climate we are entering in and have been entering in, and I've been talking to some financial guys and they're not too optimistic about 2023. I think a lot of people are nervous about what these coming years hold for them, and something like this I think will speak to a lot of guys out there who are starting to panic a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years? We went through a nice boom. I remember looking at my retirement account balances just kept on going up and up and up and up. And the last year or so, it's just disgusting to look at.
Yeah.
Same with my crypto balances. I just don't even look at them.
Yeah. Yeah. So you dive into crypto stuff?
Yeah. I'm not as heavily as I was, but I didn't sell anything. I bought it at a good time. I'm still holding on to it. And from what I don't know anything, but from what other people say, that goes in cycles, and maybe in a couple years it'll go up again. So
yeah,
I'm fine having it in my crypto bank. So it's just going to sit there until Dogecoin goes to the moon, I guess.
That's good. Yeah. So I guess, this is just avenues that guys can take advantage of. And part of what I'm hoping to accomplish is just encouraging men to be better men. And that comes from a lot of different angles. And one of those is financially. I want to encourage men to use the opportunities that are out there that are available to them. And I think this is a huge one that a lot of guys could be interested in, and I hope we'll take advantage of and reach out to you about. And I think the more we can do to encourage manhood, encourage manliness, encourage guys being the father, the dad, the husband that they need to be in their family, if we can do more to add to that, it's always a good thing. You would agree. I know you would. But what are some things that you think, as far as, we have financial side of things, but also what are some other things that you think men should be really striving after coming into this new year?
Well, I think you got to get your fitness in check. I think I look back at pictures of myself throughout the years, and whenever I wasn't in shape, I also can see less of a smile on my face in all of those pictures. And whenever there's less of a smile on my face, I know I'm not being a great dad or husband, because I don't like myself. When I don't like how I look, when I'm ashamed of what I've become, then it rubs off on my kids and my wife. So that might be the first thing above anything, because if you don't get your health in check, you're not going to have a clear head to get your finances in order, to to be a loving husband and father. It's possible, obviously. Obviously, there's great dads out there who are not in great shape. But for me personally, I really have to feel good about who I am and how I'm representing myself to my kids for me to be the best I can be for them. So I would say getting your health in check is something dads need to do, like not in January, like today. That means going on a 3-day fast to do it. I can tell you it's hard as hell.
So you keep making like food references in here. Smoked brisket.
I tell you what, my son knows I'm doing this, and he knows it's hard. So he had dinner tonight. He was just eating a PB&J, and he was just eating it slow in front of me, breathing on my nose. It smelled like Christmas peanut butter cookies. Oh my God. I almost ripped it out of his hand and ate it. Like, I've got hyper smell right now. All food smells so good to me.
Yeah. I mean, fitness, I haven't shared it a lot, but I've dropped about 45 since March. And
awesome.
I had bulked up mainly for lifting, and then I just got to the point where I'm like, I'm probably too heavy now. And so I've just, since March, it was a guy, I mean, you talk about accountability and stuff, it was a guy who just kind of called me on it. And we had a little chat, and he didn't even know it like meant that much to me, but since March, I just started cutting it, and yeah, I mean, you feel better, your mind's more clear, and you're usually more fun to be around. And at least that's what my wife says. So that's all good. Yeah. So, man, Chris, I don't want to keep you all night. I've really enjoyed this, and I think it's going to be really helpful to guys out there and to men out there. But one thing I always end with is I'd like for you to give the guys a challenge. Maybe it can be for this week or for 2023, whatever it is, it's up to you. Give the guys that are listening some type of challenge.
Okay, I like that. I would say look around at your week and see where you can cut time-consuming activities and give it back to yourself or to your family. So a lot of times that's for guys that's at work, that's volunteering for committees and all kind of stuff that you end up doing for free and you get taken advantage of. Or that's by participating in something you're no longer passionate about, that's taking your time, or it could be scrolling your cell phone, or whatever it is. So just my one challenge would be look at what is consuming your time that's not benefiting you or your family and cut it out.
It's really good. I like that. It's very hard for me to say no to things. And in a small town, you get asked to do a lot of things. And so it's something that I got challenged a few months ago to really go into Christmas this season with a different mindset. Because there's been a lot of years, I know I was sharing with you before, it's just a really busy time. There's been a lot of years where I'm just glad when January hits because there's a break, I can breathe a little. But this year, I really determined to not overcommit. And delegating has been something I've been learning how to do better because I'm not naturally good at it. I would rather just get it done or get it done the way that I want it done. So I've been delegating, and I think the more guys really evaluate how they're using their time, like you said, it's huge. I mean, they will benefit, but their families can only benefit from that as well. And I really appreciate that challenge. And I really appreciate you coming on. I enjoy it. I enjoy what you're doing, and I have for a long time. And it's nice to see each other face to face.
Yeah, thanks so much. This is great. I'll have to have you on.
Oh, yeah. Love it, man. I'd love it. Yeah. Chris, have a good night.
Thanks, you too, buddy.